Well, welcome to what Kyle, where are you, man?
I'm at Creator Camp. Where are you, Paul? Why are you at home?
Dude, I thought we were doing this virtual. I thought we talked about this. This is supposed to be a virtual. You know where the times we're in right now. I mean,
No. Paul. Creator Camp is online. We share it on YouTube, but you still got to be at the camp.
Yeah. Well, that's great. You look fine. That's fine. We'll just go with it. So, guys, welcome tonight to the first ever Creator Camp. And if you're joining in for the first time, or you have no idea what this is a live stream where we interview your favorite creators, and we're just going to talk like we're talking around a little campfire and get to know them a little bit more deeper than you're just watching your typical YouTube videos or whatever niche they're stuck in. Tonight could be a little bit different than what you're usually used to. So welcome to the Creator Camp, and tell us about our guest tonight, Kyle.
So Creator Camp, we reached out to Chris Brockhurst. You guys probably already know him. If you don't, go subscribe to his channel, obviously, because that's what we do here. We subscribe to everyone that we like. So Chris has been a guy that I've been watching on YouTube for a little while now. Pretty sure you've probably seen a few of his videos, Paul.
Only a few. I mean, I might watch every single one of them religiously, but yeah,
you should. So without ado, Paul, I think we should just introduce Chris Brockhurst.
Bring him on in.
I'm Chris, and I'm addicted to shooting wide open. I think it all started with f2.8. So it starts for a lot of people. You see that background starts to get a bit blurry, and then you might get a prime, and you experience 1.8, and then you get something like a G Master, like the 24, and you see f1.4 for the very first time, and then you want more and more, and then you try out the 50 f1.2 G Master. Just the background is so nice. Why do you want to see it all? Blur it out.
I love your little short films you have, man. It's so good.
Thank you. How are you both?
Doing good. You?
Not bad. Good to see you go out of the cabin there, Kyle.
You know, Paul was right. It is virtual, so I figured we might as well just come back to, I walked all the way back from camp.
I was going to walk all the way over there, wherever it is, wherever you were. But yeah, whatever. Chris, your white balance is looking a little off tonight, don't you think? I mean,
well, I think it's better than
mine.
Yeah, it's better than yours, that's for sure.
Okay.
A running joke. I wonder how long we can keep that going.
It all started with Darn, and he would always make fun of me all the time for it.
Yeah.
I still, sometimes he'll still make fun of me for it too, but
you'll never live it down.
Never.
No, it's funny. Chris we did a video for Paul when Paul hit 1,000 subscribers, and everyone kind of had their little thing that they congratulated with Paul, and then everyone kind of gave him crap a little bit. Chris made an obvious white balance joke where I think you came in and it was about as orange highlights as I've ever seen on the screen.
I seriously thought he was going to do it again tonight to me, but
I thought so too a little bit.
You know what? I actually did have some ideas planned, but the setup took a little bit longer than normal to do. So we'll save those for another time.
Did you have to put the kids down for bed? What time's your kids' bedtime over there?
Kids' bedtime ranges from like 7 to 7:30, but like we're up from 6 a.m. most days. So yeah, I'm normally in bed by like 10:30. So I appreciate you pushing it forwards a little bit for me tonight.
Yeah.
Hey, whatever it takes to get you on, because
See, I used to be a night person. I used to be up till the late hours of the morning, and ideas come at night for me. But I had to change to a morning person as soon as you have kids. Happens.
Yeah.
I'm quite the opposite. I'm definitely quite the opposite. I'm up till like 2 a.m. every night.
Yeah, I have a do not disturb on my phone and at nighttime, so sometimes I miss Kyle's texts, and I'll wake up in the morning and there'll be like a laundry list of texts from like 12:30, 1 o'clock. I'm like, dang, this guy's up late.
What are you doing up so late? You just what time do you get up? I guess.
I mean, I get like 5 hours of sleep a night, I feel like.
Okay.
So I work in a hospital pharmacy, and
Okay.
I'm there. We have different shifts, but most of the time it's still pretty early. And I don't know. I just like watching TV and editing, and not editing sometimes, and
Yeah.
getting away from it for a few minutes. So
I'm jealous. I wish I could stay up late again, but you can't. You can't burn both ends of the candle.
Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
You gotta pick
you
and choose your battles.
You can for a while,
Yeah.
for sure. So
Well,
Only
you
lasts so
could
long.
without kids. It's a little bit more easier to do. But once you have the kids that have
Sure.
20 times more energy than you normally, then you gotta get that rest. You gotta get that
Yeah.
rest.
Exactly.
clearly, I
Gotta
forgot to
recharge.
talk on this mic for the last 5 minutes, and I just showed
said
my
it on
bluff,
you.
didn't I? So yeah, I had to use the Rode mic, because that's one thing that I like about your channel is I like that you just walk around with the Rode wireless interview, like
Thank you.
almost for no reason sometimes, because
Oh yeah,
it's just,
completely for no reason.
yeah,
completely.
it's fun. Like I've done a couple videos with this too, and it's just like you feel like a different person on camera when you're holding this,
Yeah.
which
You
is
do.
ridiculous because it's just a piece of plastic, but
It gives you like
expensive piece of
a
plastic.
comfort level as well, I find. If you're out in public, you're a little bit like, I hate vlogging in public or anything like that, but if you have that there, it just turns you into a person that's a lot more comfortable in front of the camera. Also gives you something to do with one hand. It's
That's
kind of
true.
hard to know what to
Yeah.
do with your hands sometimes, right?
You
So,
know, Ricky Bobby, the whole thing.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, I had a fun comment I just saw, Paul. I wanted to post that up here real quick.
Yeah,
Show feels a lot like Nickelodeon Salute Your Shorts at Camp Anawana.
man.
Shell to
Brings
art.
me back to my
That's
younger,
kind of
younger
what we were
days.
going for here. Yeah. We were going to try to get everyone to send in a clip because each intro is going to be different every week. And I wanted originally, I was like, we'll just tell them to go out and do some kind of funny thing. I was like, do you know how much that is asking someone to go do just to like record something for an intro? Like,
Yeah.
it's like, we'll figure it out a different way. So
You did good. You did good. I like the intro. That, as I said to you guys in the pre-show, like the production level you guys have done here is top notch. It's fantastic. Like everything I can see in front of me, like it looks great.
yeah, we gotta upgrade at some point here to not like right now we're using the 720
Cheap
quality
guys.
as far as we're checking out. Like I like Restream because we can send it to like all of the other different YouTube channels and Facebook and Instagram. But to go to 1080 or 4K, it's like really expensive to a point
To be honest
where
with
it's
you,
like,
I wouldn't bother. When we were doing Creative List for a while, we went back and forth, and 720 we realized is more than enough for what most people are seeing because you're cutting it down into little boxes, right? So 720 is
that's
still
true. Yeah.
pretty good in terms of the size you're seeing. And you guys look perfectly clear to me. So
Yeah. I mean, when we were doing like some Lightroom tutorial kind of stuff, that's when it was kind of people started saying like, we can't really tell what you're doing. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. So
I could see the pixels.
Yeah.
So what brought you from the UK to Canada, and when did all that happen? We're curious.
Oh, it's a real life love story. It actually is.
Do I need to cue the piano music? Hold on.
Yeah, do you have some? Can you put some like cheesy background music on?
I don't know if I can.
So I actually came to Canada in 2010. My wife at the time was a girlfriend, and it was basically breakup, or I follow her over here. So I followed her over here and stayed a year on my visa, stayed another year, and became a permanent resident. And I've been here ever since. So 10 years in Canada. Well, what year are we now? 2022. 12 years in Canada now.
Yeah.
So I've been here a while.
Brought you over, man. Whew.
Yeah, that's it. Literally. Things we do for love.
So do you still follow like football and stuff over there?
I did used to quite heavily because it's hugely part of the culture over there, right?
Yeah.
Like Saturdays, Sundays that you go to the pub, you watch the game with all the guys. That's literally like, that is what life is like. But when I came here, you're battling with different culture. You don't have the same kind of setup with pubs and things. People aren't interested in it nearly as much. But the biggest thing was the time difference. So you go to the pub at 1 in the afternoon or 3 in the afternoon to watch a game. That's great. It's not the same having a beer at 9 a.m. in the morning to watch the game, right? So
True.
I check in now and then, but I don't really follow it so much anymore.
I feel like the same way with when NFL goes over there to play in like Wembley or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like you wake up at like 9 o'clock and you're like, why is there a game on right now? It's already over. Wait, it's already almost over too. Like, And I get that, part of me is kind of like, why don't they play those games at like 7 p.m. so that they are
Yeah.
played here at noon? But I guess they want to play in front of a market there. So 12, noon,
Yeah.
2
Well, they
o'clock
do
kickoff or whatever it is.
certain sports. They will change the times. Like I don't know if you guys watch UFC, but some of the big fights, like if they're taking place in like Abu Dhabi or whatever, they'll put it on at like 2 a.m. in the morning, so it's still regular time in Vegas. But
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason, yeah, they don't do it with
Yeah.
NFL or soccer. So football.
So
Yeah.
now you're into F1, right? Like a lot of other creators I see are
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
into F1.
Somewhat, yeah. The Netflix show really got me into it. I used to be into F1 years and years ago. I'd watch it with my dad and my brother because it's huge in England. Like it's really not big. It wasn't big in North America. Now it's obviously huge because of the Netflix show, and yeah, that really got me
Crazy
back
how much
into it.
one show would change that, right? I mean,
Insane. Literally changed the trajectory of a sport and the amount of money and the advertising, everything like that. So you can see why it's just F1's gonna continuously welcome Netflix in each year to do what they do. Now I know they do skew the storylines a little bit and they hype it up, but that's what TV is, right? But yeah, F1, fascinating sport, fascinating.
I watched
So much
like a
science behind it.
documentary film. It was called Senna.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's so crazy because it's all like actual footage,
Oh, yeah.
but whoever put that together is like a masterclass in storytelling.
Yeah.
Because they took all the footage that was just regular and they made it. You'd be halfway through the movie like, God, this is real. This isn't like this isn't made. It's not a Hollywood movie. It's so I mean that one was crazy. I watched that and was just kind of like whole different respect for that sport F1.
Yeah.
So
those guys are athletes as well. I think that's something
Yeah.
not a lot of people realize is they are like peak performance athletes.
yeah, I think they say they lose like 8 pounds
Oh yeah,
after a race or something like that. So
because of the G's and the amount they sweat and everything like
Yeah.
that. Fascinating sport.
now you just got to get around a spot where you can start doing some filming, do some content like Sydney. He's starting to
I know.
try to shoot some stuff. So speaking of content, where did that all start with you?
Content.
Like when you start picking up cameras and things like that?
So first camera. Funny story actually. I actually have. So the very first video camera I ever shot would have been around 2001. And it was a skateboarding video clip. It got into video through skateboarding and all that kind of stuff, like a lot of people have. And I actually just managed to find that exact, not the one I obviously own, but that exact camera, brand new, sealed in the box. And I actually got delivered today. So this right here is the very first camera I ever used. And I have the video clip stored somewhere and I'm going to make it into a video somehow. But yeah, so I started shooting video in what you guys would call high school-ish, and kind of went from there, came to Canada and stopped shooting video. I did go to school for video and quit because of the direction the course was going, like university. And then came to Canada. I didn't do any video stuff for like 3 or 4 years. Got a job working in, it's called Future Shop, but Best Buy would be the equivalent now, in the camera department. And that kicked me back into doing it. That would have been 2011. And started making content for YouTube probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Had a channel since 2006. You can go all the way back and you can see some of the very first videos that I've done. I was one of the very first people to get a YouTube account, but didn't really post on it until 16, 17, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I remember your younger subscriber days. I was like always thinking like, man, this guy is like, solid. I don't what's this guy, you're like flying under the radar for so long, and then finally you finally started launching off there after I think Sydney was starting to get really big, and I feel like you were kind of following that little trend there too.
Yeah, I find everyone kind of goes up with like certain people grow at the same rate. Like Sydney was growing at the same rate as like Donna was. Me and like Jake Sloan are kind of growing at the same rate. It's really interesting if you start watching other people around the same as you. Like you all grow at the same level, and you kind of have a group of creatives that you're working around. It's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. I remember, like my brother is like 7 years older than me, so he he was always in those like media production classes and stuff. So naturally, I'm like 8 years old, grabbing video cameras, trying to rip off the videos that he was making in school. So, and then once I got into high school, it was the same thing. I went into those classes for 4 years and did all the media production and news studio stuff. And our high school actually won like Emmys, like
Oh wow,
for the news broadcast. And
nice.
so it's, but then skateboard days, same deal. Like,
Yeah.
so funny stories. I found my parents had this like some kind of beer drinking glass, right? And they had like a base that when you put it up, you're like, God, this looks like a fisheye lens.
Mm-hmm.
So naturally, I went into the garage, I broke the glass off, took the bottom part, put some tape around it, taped it onto the lens.
Yep.
And then you put it up, you're like, it's not perfect and it looks horrible going through that glass, but it fisheyed. It gave me that fisheye look that I was watching in skateboard videos. So that was my first skateboard fisheye lens was the bottom part of a glass that I broke and taped on. So
that's a great story.
Fun story. Yeah.
You should
probably
even
have it still somewhere.
replicate it. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, it's a great story to have as a video.
Yeah, it'd be fun if I could find those tapes somewhere. But yeah.
What about you, Paul? What was your very first video experience?
So my very first video footage experience was I used to watch. I actually got into it because of YouTube, and I really wanted to shoot photography. So was kind of telling my wife like, hey, I really kind of want to get a photography camera, just because these phones are just not. It's not as fun to shoot on a phone, even though it looks amazing. Sometimes better than what I can quickly get on these other cameras. But I was watching a lot of DSLR video shooter, and he was a huge Panasonic guy, and so I was like, honey, let's get this Panasonic G85. It's not crazy expensive. It's got all of the nicks and features, and so I got that, and I was like, dang, the autofocus is just not there. It's terrible. And so I had that camera for, I don't know, probably a year. Then I finally started using it to shoot. I said, you know what? I'm not going to let this like autofocus game mess with me, and I'm going to stop just spending all my time watching YouTube. And I did a Scott McKenna challenge, and for 30 days. And eventually I went to a Sony event with another one of the guys that was doing the challenge from DC. He flew down here to Orlando, and we kind of collaborated. And I fell in love with the Sony cameras at that Sony event. The first time I got to hold an A7 III, and I was like, wow, this is just way better than this Panasonic camera. It's so much easier for me to just to like slap it up there and get it. Ironically, when I got an A7 III, but I didn't have enough money to get the lens yet. So my friend gave me this Canon FD 28 millimeter lens, and I just bought a Sony E-mount adapter for like $7-10 or something like that, and slapped it on this thing. And this was like the first lens that I used with that Sony camera and I probably used it for a good month or two, and then I finally was able to buy that Tamron 28 to 75, which was my first lens, my first real Sony lens. But this thing looks cool, and after seeing your video recently, I don't know if you guys have seen, but Chris Brockhurst did a video on using a vintage lens. It's a really cool video, some amazing shots, and it just shows you the character that these lenses have, and it reminded me of them. Like, and I got to go back out and shoot with this thing. But
those FD lenses are really popular nowadays, eh? Like they're not cheap to buy. Like they're solid.
Yeah,
lenses.
I saw a 50 after your video. I was like, I wonder what other Canon FD lens. There's a 50 1.8 on online for like, you can get it for $50.
Oh crazy. Wow, okay, yeah. I'm looking at some of those FD ones now. The next ones I want to try.
Sometimes you just got to go to a thrift store and just see what they got.
Yeah. Carriage sales.
Chad Ainsworth, what is up? So this is another guy. He's from Florida as well. He's been meaning to come to Orlando eventually, or we've been meaning to get up, and now these dang gas prices are probably going to really hurt that. But eventually we're going to get together. He just got a Ford Bronco too, which is really cool.
Nice.
His content's pretty cool. He does a lot of beach life and life in a Bronco. So he just had a kid, but he's about to turn around, and he left Sony. I'm sad to say, to go to Canon, but it's okay. We forgive him anyway.
Freighter. What Canon did he get?
He went to the R6. So
okay, fair play.
Yeah. So you speaking back on cameras, you're shooting now with an FX3. Do you have an A7S3, or do you have the FX3 only?
FX3, A7S3, A7 IV right now. Trying to source an FX6, but it's impossible to buy right now.
You got a couple camera angles going on tonight too, don't you? Which ones are you shooting on tonight?
So this right now, this angle is a 50 G Master f1.2, and this is the 24 there. If you prefer the 24 look instead, but this one's kind of off to the side, so I can't really look at you.
I had to zoom in a little bit because I looked oddball with that 20.
You looked oddball. 20 is a good look though. It's a good look for. Yeah. I do prefer the wide look, to be honest with you. Like,
when you guys were like straight up in there, I was just like way back here, and that this unblurry background is probably not acceptable to you, I'm sure. So
this 1.4 goodness right here. Oh man, I love this lens. I shot with this one a lot at the Sony event in Orlando as well, and I was like, man, I wanted it. And then because when I started with Panasonic, I had the kit lens, which is like 12 to 60. And so 12 for Micro Four Thirds is 24. So I was just so used to shooting it wide open, and I loved it. So I went to camera camp. When I went to the real camera camp, I got to shoot more with the 24, and I was like, oh shoot, this thing is amazing. So I finally was able to pick it up last year when it went on sale for a pretty hefty price. I got it for like $1070 brand new from B&H. So
that's a great price.
Yeah.
One of my first like main setups was the 6400 with the Sigma 16, and that's the same deal. 24
lens, eh? The Sigma 16.
It's still great.
Yeah.
I did a video on putting that lens on the A7S3.
Yep.
You can make it work. It's more of like an 18 when it's all done, but
yeah.
You have to do active stabilization and then like punch in like maybe 5% in post just to get it to like not have any vignetting. But yeah, that Sigma lens is nice. Plus it's a 1.4, so I did some nighttime stuff shooting that thing and it looked good. So
Eddie Nunez just picking on us. Eddie, are you dual streaming right now on, he's on Ken's channel and he's over here commenting in the comments too. I guess he's feeling love.
I don't think I've ever used a Nikon. Don't think I've ever used one.
You're probably not missing too much.
No.
It's like a potato, right? That video was that guy is clever. Sam is so clever. So how do you exactly like get ideas for your videos and like bring us through some I'm curious on how you go about producing a video, because that's one battle that I always struggle with. It's like, all right, I can just sit there and just talk for a while in front of this camera, but how do you do a great job, I feel like, of making videos, mixing in interests and just doing various things on your channel. So
I try to do things now so that I try and make a video so that I would be interested in watching it. As much as like just talking to a camera and reading specs and talking about your opinions just in one angle is great. I get bored doing it. So if I get bored doing it, it means people are getting bored watching it. So now I try and approach things a little bit differently by just try and get my ideas across, but shoot them in different ways. So now my general way of doing things is I'll have a video title that I want to make, and I'll script out some general bullet points, things that need to be discussed. And then I'll sit down and talk a couple of sentences in this angle, and then I'll move over to this angle and talk a couple of sentences over here. Then I'll go outside and do some stuff, and just try and mix it up really, and have fun. You got to do things that you are going to, I'm all about trying to make things sustainable, like to be able to do it long term. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to get really bored. So it's good to mix things up. In terms of how I come up with ideas, that's a great question. I wish I could give you an answer. There's no, I can sit down and just write down ideas, because that's not how ideas come to me. Ideas come to me in the weirdest, mostly when I'm about to fall asleep, to be honest. The best ideas I ever have when I'm mostly about to fall asleep and I have to wake up and write it down. Otherwise I'll forget it. But yeah, like just thinking about things, and then you're like, oh, that's kind of a good idea. And you might sit on it for a little bit and then develop it and then mix that with another idea, or you have like a sponsored segment that needs to come up. And like, you know what, I could probably do that with that. And there's no one way I just come up with ideas. It's it's a magnitude of multiple things. And when a video is ready to come to fruition, it ends up on YouTube.
Now, are you're full-time YouTube right now, or are you kind of you're full-time YouTube with also doing side hustle stuff?
Full-time YouTube since last February, not February 2022, February 2021, but also client work. So I do real estate work. I do social content for some people, and then from like, weddings actually start next month for us now, but May to October we shoot weddings as well. My wife and I this year will be with a second shooter I have, but yeah, we shoot about 15 weddings a year usually. Take a very limited amount.
I remember hearing about that. You and your wife shoot together. That's nice.
Yeah.
You like working with your wife?
I love it. I love it. We both love it. It's the best time and the most time that we get to spend together. Every wedding we say is like a date. Get to hang out for the day, shoot for the day, have a little sit down meal in the evening. It's great.
Yeah, my wife is getting into photography, so she uses this A7C as her photography camera when we shoot together, and I'll use the A7 S3. But yeah, we don't get to do it enough. But so I can see how that would be really fun to go out and shoot together. What is your favorite real estate lens then?
16-35 f4, without question.
That's why I thought that I knew because the OSS and
the OSS. But I mean, we don't really use the OSS because I don't do photos anymore for real estate. I mean, now and then I'll do them if I'm doing video as well, but I won't strictly just go and shoot photos. I mostly do video, like narrated tours. So that's when you're like following a real estate agent around as they're talking about things and slapping B-roll in here and there. But with real estate, something people don't think about, like everyone always wants the fastest glass, right? Like they want an f2.8. But when you're shooting real estate, you don't want just me in focus with a blurry background. You want everything in focus. So you're normally shooting a much higher aperture, so you get more in focus. So the 16-35 f4 is honestly is perfect, absolutely perfect.
You've been toying around with that 10-18 now. It looks like too, though.
The 10-18 as well. Yeah, I mean the 10-18 is more of you're trying to fix a certain problem, which was crop 4K 60 with the A7 IV, but it does pretty much the same thing because you're still again shooting at a higher aperture, so you don't need something lower.
Yeah. I was doing like a test with the ZVE 10 when that came out, and then just was like, I'm gonna try putting this on my A7S3 and see what it does. And then like there's some spots where if you're like at a table and you put your arms out, it looks so awfully bad and weird. Yeah. But I mean it's incredibly wide, and it's about a 12, I think, when you zoom it in. Yeah. Because you have to zoom in the lens just a tiny bit, but it's a fun lens.
It's a cool perspective though. It's different. Like maybe not for paid work, but to just go out and have fun and shoot. I mean, shoot a vlog or a whole video in like a fisheye look. Like it's different, right?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to use the 360 stuff, but it kind of gives you a similar look. You can anyway. So I kind of want to get one, but it's like they are expensive, and I didn't really want to dump $500-$600 on a lens. Yeah. Just for my A7S III. Right. I mean, granted, I could use it on those other APS-C cameras, which would be nice, but.
So here's a tip for you, and this is a video that's coming, little spoiler alert. So there's a lens you can get, and these are all used because no one buys them. I just found these on B&H. So there's a 16, what is it? It's like a 16 mil, and you can get an adapter for it that makes it even wider. And all said and done, the whole package is like $250 used. And they're both Sony APS-C lenses, but they work on full frame as well. So, and it looks like a fisheye when you use it.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Cool little video coming. I haven't seen anyone else do it, so.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot of various lens videos recently. It's kind of cool. I like it.
Well, I like your what I like about your videos too is you do like the one lens video. Yeah. And it's like you don't ever talk about the lens or anything. You just you're narrating a story or whatever, showing good B-roll, fancy, you're showing life. And that's kind of like it's a different thing because everyone always talks and you just show.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So, and it's fun. It's because it's like, you're watching almost like you're watching a vlog, but also it's all one lens. So it's kind of it's fun. I haven't watched all of your one lens ones. It'd be interesting to see what your like 70 to 200 videos look like. I haven't watched that one yet.
That was tough.
I can imagine. Yeah.
That was tough.
I know Gene just did that like 50, what was it? 50 mil.
1.8. Vlog on the 50 mil. Yeah. That was a good video. it's good to do those kinds of things because no one else really does it.
Mhm.
I love to show more than like it's great us just talking about gear all the time, but like people need to show stuff that they're passionate about making or whatever, right? So like you kind of have to back up what it is that you're talking about as well. But yeah, like those are, as you say, it's a vlog. It basically is a vlog. I would love
Mhm.
to be able to change the title of those videos now to be like a docu vlog because that's essentially
Mhm.
what it is. But I've fallen into a trap now of like it has to be called the One Lens film.
Yeah, well,
How's your
that's
vlog channel doing?
I actually just started again. So I canned that last year because it just became I had a really busy week or busy 2 weeks at the beginning of December, and I just had to can it because I didn't have enough time to do it. And vlogging is something that if you stay consistent with it and you fall in, like you create a habit. I found it really easy to do, but as soon as you fall out of that habit,
Mhm.
it's hard to get back into because it's a mindset thing, right?
That's just YouTube in general.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Um,
you take a week off for me, it's always like, I got 2 days left to get something edited, I haven't
Yep.
even started, we're gonna wait a week, and then the
Yep.
week rolls around, you're like, "Well, this thing isn't gonna be interesting," or all of a sudden now it's the weather's not gonna work with me, and, like, I was gonna go do this snowboard video with this thing yesterday or
Mhm.
this weekend, and it started raining in Minnesota.
Yeah.
You can't go snowboarding when it's raining, and then the
No.
next day it was just solid ice, so it's like,
Yep.
not gonna waste $40 on a lift ticket for that, so
No, of course.
so it's just yeah, it's easy to get out of your habit and then just you have to remotivate yourself. So
Yeah, that's it. So, but it's starting again. I've hired an editor. It's a very different style now. It's not really vlog. But you're right. It's YouTube in general. Like you've got to create a habit. You've got to stay consistent. If you fall out of that, it's downhill from there.
Hired an editor.
plus you
Wow,
started
moving up in the world.
you also started doing reels, and that's probably taking up a little bit of time too.
Yeah, Reels is a grab bag. What's your guys' experience with Reels?
I get
Short.
like a bunch of plays, and then it just stops.
Yep.
And that's just every one of mine. I haven't had any. Like Sydney was telling me about how he's like, "Oh, didn't you get invited for the bonuses and stuff?" And I'm like,
Mhm.
"I'm not there, I guess."
Right.
I don't know how that works. Apparently, it's just random. So,
Okay.
but
It's
yeah, I
just
mean,
US as well, right? As far as I'm aware.
I think so.
Mhm.
He's doing well on that. I know that, but it's fun. I mean, I like making silly crap anyway, so
Same.
it's kind of fun, and I do like the fact that it's just like you can just find the audio that you like, and then be like, I can make 50 different videos with the same clip audio, and it's something that's just pointless is just showing a bag of your gear while having
Yep.
this audio play is like that could get 50,000 views.
Mhm.
So it's kind of interesting to see how that works. So
The one thing I find funny about Reels is how YouTube is so hard with things like using copyrighted music, right?
mhm.
Yet Instagram, Facebook, TikTok they've just come out, and that's just am I allowed to swear on this podcast or not?
Doesn't matter to me.
It's a fucking free for all for use whatever music you want. We do not care.
Mhm.
That's the one thing I find very strange with those platforms. Like, how are the artists getting kickback from that kind of music, right? That's my only concern with the shorts and the way things are going.
Right.
It's very heavily reliant on music.
Right.
There might be something I know when you go in Instagram stories and you hit music,
Yeah,
it links to Spotify.
right. Okay.
So I don't know, but the reels might do that too. There
Yeah.
might be some kind of compensation there, but being a musician that's on Spotify as well, I can tell you that
Look at
you
you.
don't make money on Spotify. Even my friends' bands, some of them are signed, so their label gets a chunk of that before they do. But
Okay.
my friend's band was like, "Oh, you guys got like 8 million view plays on one song," and they're like, "Yeah, we got our like $4 check last week too." And I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
It's like you make fractions of a penny on on a play, so it's
Right.
although my other friend's band, they do well, and they get like I don't know, they have millions of plays on their stuff too. So maybe it's all different. I don't know how that works, I guess, but
Yeah. It's interesting. It's just this new thing that's just appeared in the last few months. I mean, TikTok's been around forever, but Instagram's
Right.
obviously gone a lot harder with Reels.
it could be
And
something
now
to do with
Facebook Reels, but
TikTok isn't in the US, so maybe there's some sort of you can't
right.
really sue them as easy because it's based from I don't know, is it China based?
Something like that, yeah. But
So
that can
maybe they
only
get
go
away.
so long before
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
YouTube, I remember YouTube years and years ago when I very first started posting videos, like videos that not related to what my YouTube channel is now, but you could post whatever you wanted in terms of music.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like, and now you post a video and it's like you're banned in 18 countries from this video being shown. It's just you can't. So I'm interested to see the direction of that goes and how that ultimately affects it, because a huge portion of what the big people are getting in terms of views is based off of a song, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's
Yeah,
interesting. It's fun though. I really do enjoy just walking around and making a video about that wall or whatever, right? You can do whatever and it doesn't matter. It takes such a little amount of time to make.
Yeah. Well, I had to do a Cuts ad. You're a Cuts sponsorship, so you know this too.
Mhm.
I had to make an ad
That's
the other day for the sale that they have going on right now,
Yep.
where they sent out polos. They have polos now.
Yep.
It's not really my style necessarily. I don't wear polos too
Polo
often,
shirt.
but
Yeah.
so I was just like,
Same.
they want us to do an unboxing, but it not in a way that you would sit down and do an unboxing. So
Okay.
you've done a few of these I've seen where you
Yep.
throw the thing down, hits the table, turns into clothes, whatever.
Make it fun.
So I
Yeah.
had to do a quick one of those the other day, and it was like 10 minutes into the whole thing, edited, posted. It was just like, it's so different on
It is.
like you're not a perfectionist. When I sit down and edit, I might take 50 hours to do a 10-minute video
Same.
or 5, like it could be
Mhm.
quick too. And just everything has to be perfect. But that reels are just like, just spit it out, just
Yeah.
get it. So I like that idea of reels because it gives you that like quick dump of creativeness that you can do there too. And then it like helps balance, I think, the YouTube
So is
stuff
your
a little
editor
bit,
going to edit all your stuff? Because that would save me a ton of time. Because I feel like, I don't know how Peter Lindgren says, oh, it only takes me like an hour to edit each video. I'm like, what? But I don't know. It's crazy.
Vlogs weren't that hard to edit in terms of time. I had a vlog down to edit in about an hour and 10, hour and 20 minutes. It was the filming and having to change your mindset from I need to make this video, create with an idea, but I also have to talk about why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, setting up angles. That was the bit that became more time consuming. But yes, the editor will be doing all the vlog stuff for me.
So you still
Check-
edit your
check
personal
fi-
stuff?
yeah.
You're just
I've tried to find companies that will do that. And there are ones out there, but the cost is more than I'm willing to invest right now. I'm in that zone of like, it's a little bit more than I think is reasonable to pay. But maybe in a year's time, it'll be like, nope, edit everything for me, please. So I can just focus on making.
I mean, some people, if you had a channel with 500,000 subscribers, it's a lot easier to be like, just film my stuff too, for all I care. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably some people out there that it's a lot different having to do that when you have those big channels because you get help. Plus, you're a big channel, so everyone wants to help you.
Yep.
I'm in the spot where I'm like trying to get anybody to come help me hold a camera for 5 minutes. So it's that's half the reason I bought an Insta360 too, so you can film yourself doing stuff too.
Yeah,
behind the
that's a great
scenes.
little camera for BTS. No, I'm the same, honestly, up until like 3 months ago. Like I lived in a town where I didn't have anybody around me. There's a guy, actually, he's been in a few of my videos now, Garrett, who lives in Peterborough, and he's big into content. He has a big social following for golf related content, but now we help each other out, like filming stuff. You can find someone that does that with you. It helps you out hugely.
Right.
Just to have someone help you film stuff. Because it gives you a different
like
dynamic.
one day Kyle's moving down to this area where I'm at, and then we're gonna.
I thought you guys were close together because I always see you guys hanging out.
So I live in Minnesota.
Okay.
Paul found my channel from building that power station.
Okay.
I made a video and he followed it. He liked it and he started building his. And Paul does what Paul does and comments on all the videos. And he's really good with networking. He knows, you know what I'm talking about. Paul knows everybody. So, and then I don't know, we made a trip down to Florida one time, and then they surprised me by working with my wife. They made a trip up here to Duluth or Two Harbors, which is like Lake Superior area. So,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's where that started. That's the same thing with you and probably Emilio and is it
there you go.
What's his name?
Tasif?
Tasif, yeah.
Tasif, yeah.
So yeah, you tend to make friends with YouTube. I feel like sometimes I'm better friends with like YouTube people than my actual friends at times. So
yeah.
My wife makes fun of me because all my friends are like long distance friends relationships. Like, don't you have any like buddy local that you're friends with? Like, well, sort of, but
yeah,
I don't know. I've been huge into music kind of like Kyle, but like ever since I got into video, it's been slowly taking like the reign. And now, like I used to be crazy about buying guitar gear and guitars, and I haven't bought anything guitar related in years. I've been focusing all on cameras right now. So
Okay.
Yeah, I stopped. We have a recording studio called Nightfall Studios, and me and another guy was kind of the back and forth. We did both producing and engineering and stuff. As soon as I started my channel up again, I just because I had like a travel YouTube channel that we were trying to start, never really got off the ground because we just didn't travel enough, and then COVID happened.
That'll
So
happen, yeah.
and you can only do so many like local events before it kind of gets old. But so I went back into like recording studio stuff. I dumped like probably 20 grand into equipment, and then COVID, no one wanted to record. Everyone kind of just like, well, we're just going to take a hiatus for a while.
Yeah.
That was my first thought was like everybody's going to want to record during this time. And
right.
it kind of went the opposite way. So I just started doing my YouTube channel stuff instead. And now I'm at the point where it's just like, you can't stop doing this for a second. Otherwise you get out of the habit. And I haven't been back to our studio like more than a couple times in the last 2 years. So still pay rent and all my gear's there. And
there's
still
probably
putting out
some great content there though. Like you could use it as a backdrop, like some BTS. Like there's probably some great
it's not
videos.
the most
there,
attractive studio, but it looks cool. I mean,
Yeah.
the lighting's awful, and part of me is I just don't want to drive half hour up to Minneapolis to
fair enough.
bring all my lights and everything there, and just it's a fun place to go and hang out and chill and play music and record stuff. And that was fun for a while. You could just sit down and just make a stupid joke song.
Yeah.
And we got a handful of those. There are some really funny ones, but it's something too that I always said the same thing to Donna. I was like, why don't you do more content at the studio? And he's just like, that's that part of my life, and this is this part of my life. And he's like, honestly, no one. He's like, unless you're doing tutorials on how to record stuff, people don't care about recording studios.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I could see that. Yeah, you have to be in that niche to be interested, right?
Yeah, but I've gone up there and hung out with friends that are recording and stuff, and I just feel like you get there, and then people are just like, oh, what do you got there? And you're like, oh, this is my brand new A7S3. You know nothing about cameras, but I'm going to explain it to you for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So then you just kind of like, I should go home. I'm getting in their way and whatever.
Yep.
So
we're going to move on to our next segment here, and Kyle and I have prepared about 20 questions for you. So this is like it's the fire round. All right. So, first question here is, how do you feel about pineapple on pizza?
Oh, go on.
What is your favorite outdoor activity? What's that?
You needed quick responses. That was it. That's as quick as it can be.
That's what this is all about. What's your favorite outdoor activity?
On my own or with people?
Doesn't matter.
One-wheeling, maybe?
Oh, I'm terrible at that.
Yeah.
Sony APS. You can only choose Sony APS-C camera or a Canon full frame.
Canon full frame.
What is your favorite movie soundtrack of all time?
Interstellar. Did you just check my Twitter? Did you steal that question from there?
Maybe.
Yeah, okay.
I saw that too, and I was just like, wait, did he see these questions ahead of time? Because I commented on that tweet, by the way. I don't know if you wrote back.
Probably
like score
not.
Or sound.
How dare you not write back?
I put score or soundtrack ?
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm terrible at posting stuff and then just disappearing. Pretty bad at that.
Because I was going to comment on your thing saying like Forrest Gump has got to be one of the best like soundtracks.
That's actually my second. Yes.
I was saying it's got like 45 like #1 hit songs that they should have never been able to put together.
No.
The price alone for that movie would have been expensive by the music. Go on, Paul. Sorry, I
your favorite movie?
Interstellar.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Just a quick background. Me and Paul are going to say Back to the Future because that's just
Back to the Future.
I am a
Speaking of which,
Back to the Future. Which Back to the Future though?
They're all one movie.
They're all one movie.
Okay, fair enough.
But that was going to be one. I also thought about doing that as one of the questions. Which Back to the Future is your favorite?
That's just implying that everyone likes Back to the Future, Paul.
Yeah.
So peanuts or cashews?
Neither.
I
do not like
almonds. Okay. Okay.
No.
If you're gonna go shoot sunrise or sunset,
Sunset.
yeah, 100%. What kind of secret? Sorry, these are Paul's questions too, so I'm reading them too. What kind of secret society would you start?
Secret society would I start? That's a really great question. I like conspiracy. You know what? Something with aliens. That would probably be pretty cool. I firm believer that aliens exist.
Yep, I'm there too.
Yep.
What number are we on here, Paul? This is a controversial one, Paul. That's probably the most controversial question here.
Let's do it.
Toilet paper, over or under?
I don't care.
That is the most. That is the most unopinionated answer I've ever heard in
Does
life.
it matter? Does it actually matter? Like, does it affect the way that you pull it off?
I don't know.
It affects me.
It's like saying driving on the right side or left side. Does it really matter? I guess there's
When you've driven
clearly
on
a right
both,
way on that.
It's hard, yeah.
Or you could just do what they do in New Zealand, just drive down the middle of the road.
Yeah, all that. You know what? I like toilet paper when it's folded in a nice little like
Triangle.
envelope, like you get in the hotels.
Okay.
That would be my preference.
Worst type of cheese.
I'm not a huge cheese guy. Cooked cheese is different, but like cheese just cold as is, not a fan. Something old though, like blue cheese. No.
Moldy cheese.
Yeah.
I used to never like blue cheese, and now I love it. I got one time I got blue cheese on a steak.
Okay.
Filet mignon, and I was like, I like blue cheese now.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
My
I
wife
love
gets
it.
that. Maybe I should try it.
In one sentence, how would you sum up the YouTube camera community?
In one sentence. That's a tough one.
I say in one sentence or less.
Supportive and interesting.
How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant?
How many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? What kind of elephant?
A big normal one, I guess.
Okay. Big normal one. How many chickens? I'm gonna say like 80.
I just feel like it could be the wrong
Depends if
one
they have a
walking in front of
plan
it.
or like if they're gonna flank them, they're just gonna go straight from the front. Like there's a lot to that's a whole conversation in itself.
It would take a lot of chickens because I mean those things can't jump that high. You know how many
No.
they
can
get
peck.
stomped on.
You ever been pecked by a chicken? Hurts.
No.
Hurts.
What is the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn?
Most embarrassing thing I've ever worn. When I was younger, I'd say younger, like 20s. There was a whole phase where we'd like to dress in neon. Like we'd go out like partying and we'd dress up in like neon, like bright pink, bright green. It was like an 80s vibe. That was pretty bad. Looking back now, there's photos. They don't exist anymore for anyone to see, but there's photos out there.
Yeah, I was in a 2005 post-hardcore emo-ish band, so yeah, long hair, bright neon fonts on black shirts.
Yep, exactly.
Size
Literally,
small shirts. Yeah.
Yep. Skinniest you can get.
What used to be considered trashy, but is now classy?
Mullets.
People are dressing them up with suits, and
yeah,
I don't know. Jared Allen always made those things classy. So
yeah, mullets are back.
If you could eliminate one object from existence, what would it be?
If I could eliminate one object from existence, what could it be? So basically, what do I really, really hate? I don't know. I don't hate anything that much, apart from maybe pineapple on pizza.
Oh, there you go.
I'm right there with you. Pineapple. I like pineapple. I just don't like pineapple on pizza.
I love me some pepperoni and pineapple. Oh, it's so good.
I've accidentally found out when we were in Mexico, I got this like powdered sugared cinnamon waffle.
Okay.
But it didn't stick to the waffle, and it just went all over the plate. It went all over my pineapple.
Okay.
And I was just like, now I got to go get more pineapple, whatever. And I took that first bite and I was like,
Amazing.
I'm not eating pineapple again ever
Oh,
without cinnamon sugar on it.
yeah.
It is the greatest. My wife will probably make a joke about how that's like not a thing, but it to me, it's a thing. So,
Well,
so you shoot real estate. What's the weirdest thing that you've ever seen in someone's home? It depends on if it's staged, I suppose, too, because
Yeah, it's tricky because the real estate I shoot, not to sound like I don't want to come off as sounding like big headed because I hate that, but it's like it's normally pretty nice stuff. They're very well staged homes. I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like Ken's posted some pretty funky pictures of some things. I wish I had stuff like that sometimes. Could make for interesting stories, but I've never encountered anything like that. I maybe like, I mean, I did a house once that was like, there were old people. They lived in like a cabin in the woods. It was a nice big house, but they just didn't throw anything out. They had everything you could possibly imagine, but that's probably the most interesting one. It's nothing special.
I'm just going to quick throw
everywhere.
I was just going to throw this in here as a quick little add-on fire round.
Yep.
What is Chris's favorite beer?
Okay. I do like IPA, but I'm also a sucker for Guinness. Right now I'm into like just straight like different lagers. Heineken's probably a top right now for me. But now and then I'll like in the summer, like I'll have a couple of IPAs. Yeah. I don't have one.
Is my problem.
You don't? No.
No.
I never used to. Your taste buds change as you get older. And yeah, I love it.
I've been like a PBR guy my whole life pretty much and
oh,
try some stuff. I still got one beer that I have yet to open or finish. I brought like 6 home from Gene had that like IPA for Lefty dog.
Oh, yeah.
Dog. I still have 1 can left.
Oh,
it's probably funky because it's been not in a fridge for the last year and a half now.
It's probably better. Yeah. It's probably like a fine wine.
It's a nice decoration up there at some at this point. So I got to go back make a trip out to where is it? Do
they still sell them?
Yeah, they still sell them. It's a really nice restaurant, like brewery, up by like where Notre Dame is. I forget what the city is called.
Okay,
but South Bend.
Gotcha.
I don't quite understand this question, Paul. So I'm gonna maybe have you ask it. It says, what would be the best worst name of BH camera store or any camera store? Are you talking about like what would be the worst name for a camera store?
Pretty much.
Okay,
that's probably a better way to word that, right?
What would be the worst name for a camera store? There's things I could say that wouldn't be acceptable. So we'll pass on that one. That one requires some thought. There's a lot of thought that involves with that one, but I'm sure there's a lot of like good ones out there.
If you were arrested with no explanation, what would your friends and family think you had done?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a great question. Because I'm not like straight edge, but like I don't know. There's nothing they really. I genuinely don't know. That's a really good question. You're trying to get people to talk about what their personal flaws are. There, it's like a therapy session.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Well, before we close out here, we always want to end this with like one big segment here that we'll open it up for one time at camera camp.
Well, I think we
at camera camp.
Oh, I totally cut you off there, but that's a. What were you gonna say?
I think we still might have a couple of Q&As we were going to open up for a second.
We will, but we need to get this segment out of the way before we go.
All right.
So, we always want to have this like one question on the show, and it's pretty much your one time at fan camp, so to speak. But what's one embarrassing story you've had when you're shooting with a camera, or maybe just any sort of embarrassing story that you'd share?
Right. Well, when I first got back into photo and video here in Canada, I took a job for a local newspaper magazine. We'd basically just go and cover events, and then you'd have to write up articles and just submit it. And didn't get paid a lot of money, but it was more just to get some experience, some exposure out there. And I'm an introvert, if you didn't know, at heart, and I'm terrible with new people. But I took this job, which was basically to go to events with a ton of people and talk to people and take photos of them and ask them to take photos. And it wasn't until I turned up at the very first event that I realized that I actually really didn't want to do what it is that I signed up to do. And I was just had to go and ask all these people to take pictures of them. And it was inside, I was dying and so embarrassed to have to go and do it. Not a problem I have now going to talk to people. But at the time, because it was new to me, that was it's pretty scary. So more scary than anything else, like terrifying, having to face my fears, go and talk to people and, hey, can we take a picture and tell me about why you're here, what you're doing? Yeah, I mean, if you're getting into this world, it's something you're probably gonna have to do as well. So that's not that interesting, not that scary, but it was scary for me.
All right. So we got a few. We just wanted to throw this up, and we're gonna do a few Q&As before we quickly end this night, because we got a few more minutes left. So we'll let some people answer. But we got this guy, 30-day filmmaker. He's just sending his regards to you and thanking him. He wanted to thank you for the A74 and FX3.
I can't tell if that question is sarcastic, Paul, because it ends with never spent more money on cameras or lenses at one time.
Hey, if you click the links, I'm happy.
Hopefully you clicked his links if you're that thankful for him. Yeah.
I'm just happy I can help people make those decisions, because it's tough for people sometimes, right? They genuinely don't know. And yeah, I'm glad I can help.
Could Chris recommend a 360 camera for virtual tours? Not sure if he creates virtual tours for his real estate projects.
360 camera for virtual tours. I don't personally do them. In Canada, at least, if you want to do a 360 tour, you can only use one or two companies, and they're called Matterport or iGuide. They're the only two acceptable ones. You couldn't just go and use an Insta360 camera, mostly because places like Remax and the MLS, which is where you list houses, you can't put that content on there. They'll only take from Matterport or iGuide. So,
but you can actually use an Insta360 camera with Matterport.
Can you? Okay.
You can. It's actually.
Okay.
Yep.
Is that a new thing?
I don't know. I know that Jared Spink, he does a lot of he bought an Insta360 just to use it for Matterport. And I didn't know that either. I thought you had to go out and spend the the ungodly amount of money on that Ricoh Matterport cam, but he said you don't have to do that. You can actually use an Insta360. It's compatible.
Good to know. So if that's the case, Insta360. There's the answer to your question.
We got another one here. Shelled Art. So favorite YouTube memory?
Anytime you get to meet people, it's pretty cool. Like meet people that you've seen online. Like just putting people's faces to names. It's pretty cool. Like the first time I met Donna, there was a couple of guys I met from the UK, which I just kind of had just chatted with online before, and then when you finally get to meet them in person, it's just a cool experience. Anytime that happens, it's cool.
Yeah, you're kind of between Toronto and you're kind of like above Detroit area.
I'm just an hour and 20 minutes west of Toronto, east of Toronto, so I'm like right there.
Okay, yeah, I'm not. I know like where some of the creators are up in Canada that I'm aware of, but
there's a ton in Canada, and yeah, I'm in that area too.
Well, it's been a really great night tonight. We really appreciate you coming out, and we thank you from the bottom of my heart. You're the first Creator Camp guest we've had on the guest. But before we leave you out on that note, do you want to share with us anything that's coming up on your channel that's really exciting, that maybe a little preview for all the people who are watching they might want to be staying tuned for?
What do I have coming up? I got a bunch of lens content coming up soon. New lenses that I'm testing out. I'm trying to find solutions for problems for lenses, and gonna go in deep with some more vintage lenses. I'm gonna be doing my first like travel one lens film coming up soon. Lots of stuff coming. Nothing that's like huge and different, but lots of the same, lots of little bits that are different. It should be good.
Let's be honest. Everything that he does is pretty much different than most creator content in this niche. So, do you see all his links? There'll be links down in the description of this video. Go check him out. Go subscribe to his channel. He has all his Instagram and Twitter over on the side of this video. Just go subscribe and follow him on there. Chris, as always, we appreciate you being our first guest, and it's been an honor for you to be on here. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts, man. And
Thank
we
you,
really
Kyle. Thank you, Paul.
I was gonna
Appreciate it.
definitely make notes to your Twitter. It looks like we're missing the T.
It's not.
No,
Someone
that's
else has
correct.
it.
Yep, that's correct because someone else has it.
Funny story with that. The person who actually has it is me. And I signed up for it years ago, and I don't know what email address I signed up with it for, and I can't get it back. So it's actually
I think
me.
that would be the most embarrassing. No.
Maybe.
That's actually funny, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially because that's like in your Twitter, like someone else has it. That's good.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, that's a
but
true
I
story.
can't remember anything, so I just made a new one.
Yep, that's a true story. Thank you
That's
guys
great.
for having me. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best. I'd love to come on in the future if you guys ever need someone else again. You guys have done a phenomenal job here with everything. Production value is insane. Like all the little videos that you've done, like this layout right here. You did a good job. You guys
haven't seen the outro yet.
Big things coming. Oh, there's more?
There's an outro still too. I will say though, we hope to at some point, if this thing can get some traction, book some kind of thing, maybe next year as like an actual camera camp or something would be kind of fun.
Yep.
Or creator camp, but
Everybody's always looking to get together. Yeah.
Everyone wants a camera camp again right now, and I'm surprised that you weren't in it when it first happened too. So
I was a little sad actually. I got to go there and I didn't get to meet the Chris, but it's all right.
So I actually do have something tentatively in the very early stages planned with someone for something like that.
Okay.
So maybe stay tuned for that.
Maybe we'll have him on as a guest before that happens. That's cool.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, stay tuned for that. Go subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys in the next creator camp. See you at camp.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.
See you, Chris.